The sun rose hard and red over the open plains as the sound of a single guitar string echoed through the morning air. A young cowboy named Cole Ryder, standing outside a weathered ranch house with dust on his boots and dreams heavier than his saddle, born into a land where sweat meant survival and music meant truth. Raised by a grandfather who taught him that a man's word and his song were the only things that lasted after the dust settled, Cole played not for money, but for the sky itself, believing the stars listened, while just beyond the cottonwood trees, an Apache girl named Ayanna watched silently, her dark hair braided with turquoise beads, her eyes sharp with wisdom far beyond her years, raised between tradition and a changing world, taught to respect the land and never trust promises spoken too easily, their worlds divided by old wounds and quiet judgments. Yet fate had a habit of crossing lines no one else dared to cross. Cole first noticed her at the edge of town during a small gathering where ranch hands laughed loud and drank cheap, but she stood still like the mountains, unshaken. When their eyes met, the air shifted, something ancient stirred. He played a song that night, raw and honest, a song about home, loss, and hope. Not knowing it would reach her spirit like an arrow finding its mark, Ayanna felt it deep in her chest, the music reminding her of stories her grandmother told by firelight, of warriors and lovers who followed the stars instead of fear. Whispers spread fast in small towns, a cowboy dreaming too big, an Apache girl walking where she didn't belong, but neither cared because destiny rarely asks permission. As days passed, they spoke more, first about the land, then about dreams. Cole spoke of Nashville and stages bright as daylight. Ayanna spoke of preserving her people's voice and refusing to disappear into silence. Their bond grew under moonlight drives and quiet conversations, but shadows loomed, old grudges, jealous eyes, and a town not ready to see them stand together. Still, Cole believed love was worth the risk, and Ayanna believed courage meant stepping forward even when the past pulled back. If you feel this story already touching your heart, then make sure you subscribe right now, because this journey is only beginning, and the next part will take you deeper into a love tested by fire, blood, and fate under the western sky. The trouble didn't arrive loudly. It crept in through silence and stares, through doors closing too quickly and voices lowering when Cole and Ayanna walked past. The ranchers whispered about tradition, the elders spoke of history written in pain, and both sides feared what they did not understand. Cole's grandfather warned him that loving her would cost him everything, while Ayanna's uncle reminded her that cowboys once rode against their people, yet neither could turn back, because love, once chosen, becomes a path you walk even barefoot. Through fire, Cole's music began to change, deeper, stronger, filled with longing and resistance, songs about unity and broken chains, while Ayanna shared stories of her ancestors, teaching Cole that strength did not always come from force, but from endurance. One night, under a sky heavy with stars, they promised each other something rare. Not forever spoken lightly, but truth spoken boldly, no matter what came. But fate tested them fast. A confrontation erupted in town. Words became threats, threats became violence, and Cole was blamed for crossing a line no one wanted crossed. Ayanna stood between him and a crowd fueled by fear, her voice calm but unbreakable, reminding them that the land belonged to no one alone, that blood remembered longer than hatred. Her courage stunned them into silence, but danger remained. Cole knew staying meant risking her safety, and Ayanna knew leaving meant losing her roots. Love demanded sacrifice, and sacrifice demanded choice. They decided together. Cole would chase his music not just for himself, but to tell their story, to make people listen, and Ayanna would remain to protect her heritage, trusting that distance could not break what was written in the stars. Their goodbye was not dramatic, but powerful. Hands held tight, eyes steady, promises unspoken yet understood. As Cole rode away at dawn, the wind carried her strength with him, and Ayanna watched until the dust settled, knowing love was not possession, but belief. If you believe stories like this deserve to be told, then subscribe now, because the final part will reveal whether destiny brings them back together or tears them apart forever. Years passed like rolling thunder. Cole Ryder's voice echoed across radios and crowded halls. His songs carried the soul of the plains and the spirit of a people long ignored. Audiences felt something different in his music: truth without polish, pain without bitterness, hope without lies. And at the heart of every song was a girl, with fire in her eyes and mountains in her blood. Back home, Ayana became a leader, protecting land, teaching language, reminding her people that survival was strength. Though nights grew lonely, she never doubted the promise made beneath the stars. Destiny has a way of circling back. And when Cole returned not as a dreamer, but as a man who kept his word, the land seemed to breathe again. He came not with fame, but humility, standing before the Apache elders with respect, offering music as a bridge, not a weapon. He sang their story, not his own. The crowd listened, then felt, then understood. Old wounds do not heal instantly, but honesty begins the process. Ayana stepped forward beside him, no longer divided by fear, but united by truth. The town that once whispered now watched in silence, witnessing history shift quietly, not through force, but through love and courage. Their union was not perfect, but real, built on respect rather than rebellion. As the sun set behind them, the land looked unchanged, yet everything was different, because sometimes the greatest revolutions begin with a song and a promise kept. If this story moved you even a little, then subscribe to the channel right now, because more powerful cowboy stories of love, destiny, and the Wild West are coming, and you won't want to miss the next one.